Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having an incredible start to your day. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about doing extra, doing a little bit extra. What do you want to have in your life? Do you want to just have the bare minimum and scrape by? Or how do we get that extra? How do we get more in our life? And I heard a story in regards to doing a little extra and how much that gets you, how that compiles into so much more in your life when you always give or share or serve a little extra. And so I wanted to share the story, and it's a story about a father that has 3 sons that works for his business. And his sons have similar roles in the company, and each year the father goes over the financials with the accountant. And the accountant notices that the 3 sons get paid quite different amounts. Like one's quite low, one's moderate pay, and one's quite high in pay. And the accountant asks the question, why do your sons get paid so much different in their pay scale? And he says, let me give you an example that'll best share with you how I show what I pay for these sons. So one son, for example, I would ask, go down to the shipment that has arrived for our company. And in that shipment, I want to make sure that we have the fine silks, that we have the furniture that we ordered, and that we have those specialty rugs that have come in from India. I want you to go and check and make sure that we have all that and that's all correct. And so that particular son goes, and he, a while later, he calls back the father and he says, yep, Dad, the inventory has arrived. I just got off the phone with them. Everything's arrived perfectly, nothing to worry about. And he thanks the son for his time, and then he goes and asks his second son. And his second son, he says the same thing. I want you to go down, I want you to check on those fine silks, the furniture that's come in, and the rugs, the special order rugs that we got. And then a while later, he receives a response back from that son. And that son, he says, Dad, I went down there and I checked in with the guy, and we went over the list and everything was there, and it's all great. And he thanked his son for his time and his effort, and just like he did with the first son, and wished him a good night. And then he went to the third son and he said, same thing, son, I want you to go down to the shipment. We had these fine silks come in with the furniture, and I want you to make sure that we got those specialty order rugs. And so a long while later, late that night, this son gets back to him and he says, Dad, I went down there and I checked on those silks. Guess what? Only half of those are really fine silks. I made sure I got a refund on that half, and I actually made a call and got those fine silks sold, and we made $10,000 profit on that one. And then I did check on the furniture, and I have actually made sure that we have that scheduled for our warehouse tomorrow. And I've got a list of customers that I'm going to call because I think I know who would like to buy that furniture. And then I did check on the rugs, and all the rugs were there, and I called that customer as I know they were anxious to have them. But what I noticed with the rugs is that we had extra for some reason. And so I let the customer know that we gave him, and we're going to give him a good deal on those, and we made extra money on that. So we made an extra $10,000 or whatever it was on that particular rug sale. And then as they were looking through the rugs, there was a shipment, there was a box in the back. And he said it wasn't on the manifest, but they wanted to check in on it, and he saw that it was these type of sculptures. And so he checked with his antiquities dealer. He took some photos and sent it to him, and his kind of estimate was right. They are quite valuable. And so what he's done is he's checked with the antiquities dealer, and they said, oh, look, that could be about $100,000 for those. So I'm going to work on that with some marketing and some promoting to our right customers. I think we'll be able to make that $100,000. And so he thanks his son for his time and his effort. And then he goes back to the accountant. He says to the accountant, see, one son doesn't even do what I asked. He made a phone call and called it in. The other son does the bare minimum, right? Does the bare minimum. Went down, talked to somebody, checked the boxes. And the other son goes above and beyond. He does a little extra. He went in and checked it. He went in and checked out what he could do or what was possible or did a thorough check, right? So he did a little extra, even though I just asked the same thing of each son. And so the moral of the story is, what do we want in our lives? Do we want to just scrape by and do the bare minimum? Or do we want to do that little extra? Do the little extra that is going to be noticed. Now, I think sometimes it doesn't get noticed. I've had jobs where I've thought, man, I feel like I'm doing extra. I feel like I'm doing more than I'm required. I'm not comparing myself to others. I just know what my job is, and I know that when someone asks me to do this, I will do extra in this part and extra in that part. And I just didn't see it getting noticed. And so I've had that before, but I know it doesn't always come directly from those that you're working for. It could come who you're working around. And I've had people reach out to me from different times from work and say, hey, this is something that I thought that you would be good at, or hey, this is an opportunity for you in business, or hey, this particular time when I worked in a casino, and I always was doing the most I could. I was trying to just best serve the customers and be there for them. And the regulars, I would remember what they wanted in particular for their drinks or their food or whatever it was, and get it out to them and get them the best service that I just wanted to do above and beyond. And typically in Australia, you're not tipped. Okay, you don't get a tip. You get a decent hourly wage when you're waitering or when you're in the casino. So I wasn't doing it for that. I just wanted to do extra. And one of the guys there, who was a regular big spender, he often would come up to me and say, there's something different about you, and I really appreciate all the effort you go into for me. And he would always throw me his keys and be like, hey, I need you to get something out of my car. I don't know if it was like to see if you could trust me or whatever. And I always go and it'll be like a new something, like a BMW or a Porsche or a Rolls Royce, like always like really nice cars. And I go to his car and I come back and get him whatever it was that he wanted. And it was noticed. And so I know that doing the extra is always noticed. Where is it going to get you in your life? I know it's going to be more than just scraping by. It's going to be more than not even doing what you're, wanting in life. So do the extra. I wrote that little story up and I'll put it in the post. What can we do to get a little extra in our lives? It's up to us. We can scrape by or we can do the little extra and have an incredible life. So I hope you have a wonderful day and we'll talk to you soon.